everyone. Welcome back. It's Jennifer. I wanted to go through a project that I'm doing today. And so I wanted to get started by showing you how I put together my accountability board. I apologize. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get the light glare on there. But I also went through and did some phone video for you also that I'm going to splice in so you can kind of see how that worked out. But I wanted to show you how I kind of started the accountability board because that's where I get going on stuff. So my objective, as you can see, is that I'm going to macro sort the miscellaneous papers. And the macro sort basically means that when I touch something, I'm only going to touch it once, and it's going to go in one of three categories. Either it's going in a recycle bin, it's going to be shredded, or it's going in the file. And basically that is a keep. It's a file to be filed, but I'm not going to spend time looking at each individual piece of paper and figuring out where the next step is going to be, because that would take a really long time and I've got to get back to it. But the first thing I need to do is start with putting all of my little boxes that are filled with a bunch of little papers that were just not sure where they went. Some of them do need to be filed and kept. Some of them probably are ready to be recycled. But the main thing is I've got to get them together and figure out what's what, because you'll see in the video I have too many little containers that were waiting to be touched, and those can really start to add up over some years. So I'm going to kind of show you the board with if you can see here. So my hoarding mentality started with some reasons. Obviously I kept it for a reason. This are the things that you're going to tell yourself once you start looking through the stuff. And that's what the hoarding mentality is. Again, I'm going to tell myself that I might need it and that I need to look at every piece of paper and that, someone else may want it. There's reasons we've kept things. Again, these are the justifications, the lies we tell ourselves. So I already know going into it, some of the logic that I need to remember is going to be like, what was that reason? It's no longer valid. Or, I need to decide what I'm doing. If it's a memory, it's something sentimental, how am I actually honoring that memory? Keeping, a ticket stub is not really the best thing when it's shoved in a box that I had no idea it existed. So, I wanted to use it for something, but I didn't. And so I obviously didn't need it. The last one on here is kind of interesting. It came up after I got started, and I put on here, my hoarding mentality told me it validated my work. The logic of this is that I didn't need to keep the validation for my past accomplishments. So I found that I had a lot of letters, thanking me for volunteering, or things from my past businesses or jobs, or all of those kind of things that honestly were just keeping space. And I don't need those to validate what I did. The doing it was part of being present. And that actually takes me to the truth on the bottom, that I need to live in the present and release the past in order to move forward. Because that is really part of my goal here, is that I have a lot of new projects I want to get involved in, but I've just got this miscellaneous paperwork kind of taking my attention away from that. So anyway, this is this here, and I'm going to share some of the going through process and then the end process. So hopefully you can follow along, and if anything, maybe get inspired to do a little paper cleaning yourself. Okay, so I'm getting ready to tackle one of the things that I consider a roadblock for me, which is miscellaneous paper stuff. In my office, I actually have multiple filing cabinets, got a lot of organization. I do have a lot of paperwork from past businesses I've owned, current projects I'm working on, things like that. But I have this horrible habit of putting miscellaneous stuff into smaller things. So I will get to it at some point and go through it. The problem I have is that sometimes it's just not a priority. So what I have done today is take this out of my office. In fact, I did a collection, went around and found what I could, bags full of just some old paper stuff that may or may not be important. But I needed to get this out of my office and in one space so that I could tackle it and move on. The things that I've got ready for myself, I've got a recycle bin, I've got a shredding box, the stuff that needs to be shredded, and then I've got an organizing file which I only have about 5 different categories in there because I do know that there are some things that may need to join other things. So for example, as a realtor, I've got a lot of real estate stuff, and I may have gotten a miscellaneous, letter or something from the title company that hasn't been put away in the right place. So what I'm going to do is get those lined up, get this stuff ready, and then I'm going to do a macro sort versus a micro sort. And the macro sort means I'm just going to touch everything one time and it's going to go in one of these places. I'm not going to get too specific on where I need to file it after I get it into the keep part, but I am going to get it from this mess to some sort of organization so that I can move on to the next stage. Okay, so I am about 3 hours into this project, and at the most, about a third of the way done. Not gonna lie, it's pretty challenging for me. My accountability board is getting a workout and a half right now. But the truth is, I am barreling through, I am getting through some stuff, and I keep having to remind myself this is macro, not micro. I did have to put a couple more file folders into my sorting box because I was getting stuck on some things. But listen, if it were easy, I would have done it years ago. Little reminder, something I kind of did backwards. You should start with your newest items first, because those are the items that you have fresh in your mind and you can probably touch and you know where they go. Going with the older items, things that may have been there for years, get you a little stuck because you've likely already gone through those a number of times. You've probably churned right through them. You've taken them from one box to a different box, and then they've found themselves in this miscellaneous box. So you got to stick with it. I'm sticking with it, but it's hard. This is not easy stuff. Ooh, one more really important thing I meant to mention, take breaks. Every half hour or so, you've got to stand up, get the blood flowing, maybe walk outside. Make sure you stay hydrated when you're doing this kind of thing because your mind needs that. It needs that little break, fresh eyes to come back and start looking at things again. Give yourself some breaks. Okay, so I just wanted to do a check-in. I'm going to say I'm about 2/3 of the way done. You can see I've still got my objectives there. My shred pile, there's a little dog in the background. I've got my recycle bin overflowing. I've gotten through one of the white ones, a couple of those guys, a couple of these little boxes here. I still have a little bit to do, but I'm making great progress, which, listen, this is a roadblock for me, so this is a tough one. But hey, as a bonus, not only did I find $1 million, but I actually found $2 million. Never know what you're gonna find. I am super excited. I am done with the macro sort. So you can see I've got all these little empty containers, these bags that were just filled with miscellaneous paper. Now it is put together in the file cabinet so I know what is what. Of course, this is just stage 1 and I've got some filing to take care of, but look at this very overflowing recycle bin, and then I've got my shred stuff that I will take care of tonight, but gotta say, pretty happy right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hopeful that as I go through the process, as a recovering high-functioning hoarder who absolutely understands that hoarding mentality, you can get a little insight or maybe even a little inspiration to help you go through some of your own stuff. I am new to this platform, but I'm not new to helping folks that want to get rid of their excess stuff. The organizing is always fun, but that's kind of the next step because you can never out-organize the need to get rid of too much stuff first. I'd love it if you'd follow me on Instagram, Jennifer.Hoarding101. I'm also on Facebook, but please like and subscribe here as well. If I did give you a little inspiration, leave me a comment. Let me know. Thanks so much.